Hello and welcome back to the Arsenal Bite Size Podcast. You're here for the Arsenal 1-0 review against Ipswich. I say welcome back because, it has been a while, so it's time to dust off the cobwebs. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad to all of you that celebrate. But it's great to be back talking all things Arsenal. Hope you all had a wonderful break. And with me to review the game, the dull game, I may say, from last night is Uncle Mike. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Yourself? All good, mate. All good.
All good, all good. Yeah, I was just saying to you before we went live, it's nice to kind of be able to start podding again. We did try to do one in between. I can't remember what the last one officially up on the channel was, but
I
it was
think
like
it was the United one,
Was it? Because it was Nima's
Yeah.
last one. Then tried to do a Fulham review with Finn and had tech issues, so I finally got around to solving
really?
that. So Finn, if you're listening, I did apologise to him. I'm sorry, but fingers crossed it's all sorted now. We're back in the swing of things. And as I texted you yesterday, what better game to bounce back with an exhilarating 1-0 win? Where to start with it? How did you feel about the game in general last night?
Pre-game, I was confident. I don't know. You just see IPS, you know what I mean? And you're thinking 4-0.
Really,
So
you were thinking that?
Well, I had bets, so I was confident. I went full in on Jesus. I brought him in on my FPL team for a hit, so that went well. For Cunha, so that went really well.
Ouch.
Yeah. Bruno for Saka, so that went really well. Rest side, but then I was sitting at home and I was like, do you know what? I've got 13 quid in my Sky Bet account. I'll chuck a little tickle on Jesus. I was just thinking after his two games, he just looked on it.
Well, he technically did put the ball in the back of the net,
and we can get there. But I thought he played well. I thought he did okay. He thought he did okay. So I was fairly confident. And then when it's just so important with us is that it's such a cliche, but that first goal, you break you knew the game plan. They look like Everton. There's a blueprint out there that can stop us at our home, and people are copying it because every team that goes to play us
gets
absolutely picked off and punished. So if they think they can come and play toe to toe, good luck to them. But not many are doing that. And I think again, it's a bigger picture, but you can see why people. You can ask why we weren't playing like we were in 22, 23, and that's because teams were giving us so much more space and allowing us to play or going at us, and we've evolved as a team and so on and so forth. But I thought 1-0, get that goal. And then I thought we just sort of not rested, but we were comfortable. I don't think we were ever... my only fear is the low XG chance shots that
I think this is my thing. It's like, I kind of want to take it in the direction of, you said there about the blueprint, right? And like, I forgot what game it was where I was texting you having a little meltdown, weren't I? But it was basically, I've got concerns around the low blocks now. I think against teams that try to play us like Palace did, I've got no concerns. I think we'll absolutely batter
West
teams.
Ham,
there'll be there'll be games in there like Sporting, West Ham, Palace, where we go score 3, 4, 5. But I think we're going to start seeing a theme where most teams just come and play us with a low block. And I think the best case scenario for those teams in doing that is kind of what Villa did last season, where they sounds a bit harsh to say they shithoused the 2-0 win, but I think the best case scenario for most teams that adopt this style is like a shithouse 1-0 win where they hit us on the counter, or in the first 30 seconds in this game. I don't know how you were feeling when I saw it ricochet off Timber. I was like, fuck it.
And because if you can go back and look at all of our the last sort of, is it the 6 goals that we've conceded, or not okay? There was one in West Ham. No, was it Palace was two goals, or was West Ham was 2 goals? But
West Ham was 2,
They're all very, very low XG chances, like worldies from Justin.
Or just like perfect execution.
So like, and do you know what I was really worried though was at 88th minute. No, sorry, there was a chance that they had, and it was.
Someone was opening up for a shot, weren't he? It's like just inside the box or just outside.
And I think we'd given it was Trossard. Trossard gave the ball away. So we were in the ascendancy, we were going in the attack, and then he just gave a little, and it just went off by like half a yard. they pounced on it. They broke for the first, and that's what their, their whole setup was.
Yeah.
That's their game plan. So I think they were a bit more adventurous in that sense than like a team like Everton that did just come in and put men behind the ball. I just think we didn't allow Ipswich any sniff of the ball. There were stats coming up on the TV. I don't know if you was at the game last night.
I was at the game. I saw at half time they hadn't had a shot on target.
Like 2 touches in the box.
Just check their stats now for the full time. They didn't have a shot on target in 90 minutes, let alone just the first
and then
half.
there was like ridiculous amounts of passes in the. I think there was at one point they'd had 11 passes, and we'd had 250.
I'm going to jump around here from the usual from the usual format, but I think this is the conversation to have. So let's talk through the stats. So from Markar's stat spot, the stats according to his model from last night was obviously 1-0. XG was 2.05 to us, and they had 0.07. Which is mental. Like the XG we're conceding is absolutely absurd. The threat, 1.69 to 0.38. Possession, 67.6 to 32. Field tilt, 79.4. So like we're doing all the right things. We're playing in the right areas. We're putting up the volume. Okay, the supposed volume of chances. But I'm the same as you. I'm a little bit concerned about the quality of the individual chances. I think they bundle up together to look good. Like 2xG looks great, but the only other clear one I remember is the Gabriel header from the corner. And I don't know, like even like these aren't chances, but more just I want to take the conversation into a direction of how do we feel we're equipped to deal with these low blocks? Because for me personally, I think we've hit a little bit of a ceiling in terms of open play patterns that can unlock these low blocks. And I think the Everton game, that Newcastle is a team we typically struggle against. I think I can tell you how these games are going to go. So it's interesting. You were thinking 4-0 and stuff pre-game. I said 2-0, so I did think we would win comfortably, but I thought it would be how it went. And where I was going with that is I just think Arteta has coached the absolute limit, in my opinion, of what you can create through nice patterns of play and open play. I think we've just got to a point now where we will coach a 1-0, 2-0 against these low blocks, but to go and make it 3-4-5, that's individual quality. Someone that can come in from outside, make a chance out of nothing. And the only times yesterday I really felt excited were 2 moments. One was Timber taking initiative in the first half, dribbling through. And the second was Odegaard taking initiative, second half, dribbling through, creating a shot. And what do those 2 things have in common? It's ball carrying, right? It's the ability to create chaos. And I think
Rice did that as well, didn't he?
Exactly, yeah. And like he did that against Palace when he came.
Calafiori as well is a bit like
that's
that as well.
Exactly what Calafiori is. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I don't know. Like it's a weird one, right? Like we're fucking 17 games unbeaten at home. I think it is now. Is it 4 clean sheets in a row? But I don't feel excited. How are you feeling?
I think, if you're looking at a bigger picture, I think that what's knocked the wind out of our sails is the Liverpool train that doesn't seem to be derailed at any time. And we've finally seen hopefully the City monster being slayed.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be typical. They're going to get done, aren't they? But they're finally falling off in a footballing side.
So we've almost, that's almost done. And now we've just got to listen to Liverpool fans saying, "Oh, isn't it going to be embarrassing if Slot wins the title before Arteta?" And you're like, "Oh, no, let's put some context into that, you prick." But they're I don't know. I just think that. I'm feeling okay, but I'm just, there's so many positives that you can look at, but I do think I absolutely agree with you. I think we're missing a game changer, another game changer that's just a banger that can whack it in from like almost
what Rice tried to do.
Yeah, but almost like what Duran does at Villa. He's not. I don't see much. I haven't seen much of him, but I just keep seeing him coming on the pitch and scoring bangers.
Do you know what my thing is? It's I agree with you, but I think that the probability of those are hard. Like if you can get 5 a season from outside the box, great. I think
just having the shots for starters.
Yeah, but I think the thing that I really think is tangible and realistic that you can add is someone that can come in to a team that's facing a low block, drop a shoulder, go on a little dribble, just create a yard for yourself to create a shot in that tight space.
Elise,
and Eze and Isaac and Lelise, like, I'm not saying they're realistic options, but those profile of players exist. Like, Salah's the absolute best at it, right? But even in that Tottenham game, I was watching, like, and there's one moment that stood out to me, and it didn't even translate to anything. It was just stood up, 2-3 players around him, shifted it to one side, whacked it, hit the bar, and I'm like, we don't have that.
No, Martinelli was doing it 3 years ago, but not but not now, you know. So I agree. So I mean, but I thought we did okay. Yes, I thought we had a lot in reserve yesterday. Do you?
Yeah, it felt like a Gear 2 game, didn't it?
Yeah, it was almost like, okay, look, we'll settle. It's that first goal is so important. Once we had that, I think we was almost right. Okay, let's conserve a bit of energy. But then I was just, that's very dangerous with us, and that's why I think that we seem to get punished in the most maximum way for the smallest. You know, isn't there some? The stat is it our last 8 games or 6 games or whatever? We've conceded 1.23 xG chance. You know, that's the chances in 6 games.
The one I saw was, I've not seen that one, but it sounds believable. The one I saw was like in the 3 games before last night, we'd conceded like 0.45. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But I do think that's all well and good, but you then have to give yourself the buffer room to remove that element of variance that could shithouse yourself. And I think that's what we're not doing.
And I think that's what the difference of the lineup, isn't there? Because we haven't been on for a couple of weeks. Is there's that discussion of the basketball match that we had against Palace turned into a bit more. That wasn't an Arteta game at all.
No.
You know, and he almost forgo a man at the back for a man at the full. You know, he done that. I'd rather attack here and we seemed a bit more vulnerable.
Yeah,
we scored 5 goals, but Raya, that could have easily been a 3-2, 3-3 game. You know, Raya has been immense in some of these games of just keeping us in it at important moments like that. So,
it's an interesting one what you were saying about that. I saw something on Twitter and I can't find it now. I thought I bookmarked it, but I clearly haven't. I saw something about like Arsenal stats in certain game states, and you are right. Like, the whole first goal being important is a cliche, but it does feel so important to this Arsenal side. Like, if we didn't get that first goal, and let's say I think it's another 0-0. To be honest, like, and I mean, there are specific moments I want to talk about, like the Jesus disallowed goal, but I don't know. Like, if we didn't get that first goal, I'm not convinced we do go on and win that. To be honest, and if they equalise,
then you're in trouble.
2 years ago, I felt so comfortable and confident that we'd just overwhelm teams. I don't have that feeling around us at the minute.
No. And I think, we'll talk about Jesus. I thought he played well. There was
go on. Let's go to the lineup. Like you said, we've been
a couple of little turns and flicks here and there. It looked, a couple of runs, but I think, it was interesting to hear what Arteta said before the game. Was like, you was at the game, so you were saying it on the interview. Was, you got to ask players to step up in the Saka absence to do stuff that they're not or weren't doing before, and that's why the Martinelli debate of how do you think he done on the right hand side. I don't think he was very effective, but it's still his first game, and they're your player's so determined you're so used to Saka being there that you're never going to replace that. So you've got to step up in other ways. So I think Jesus is hopefully taking a bit of responsibility and going to do that. But it was interesting that how we're going to find the solution, because with stuff like this, it can normally work for 2 or 3 games, doesn't it? And then it peters out very quickly, and then you're struggling.
That's kind of what I said when in the fantasy football world, everyone was asking me about like Jesus and as an option, and I said he'll definitely start the Ipswich game, but then beyond that, it's performance dependent. Like, Kai
Yeah.
Havertz isn't just suddenly going to disappear. And then
No.
the flip side of that was I said, in terms of the dynamics, like I could see a situation where, because against Palace, everyone was like, oh, great. Yeah, Martinelli, his game was simplified, this, that. And I agreed, but it wasn't even one game. It was one half, really, wasn't it? And last night, yeah, I think you said the right word. He's just quite ineffective. But it was one game, right? I think there'll be periods in the next few weeks and months where Arteta tries to tweak things until he finds. I don't think there is one correct solution to this. I think without Odegaard, we all kind of thought, okay, this is the solution.
Yeah.
This is what we tweak. Without Saka, I don't really think we know. Like, I would quite like to see Jesus on the right, Martinelli on the left in one game with Havertz up top. I think there are games where this front three looks good. And in terms of last night in particular, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit harsher on Jesus last night. I thought he was, I wouldn't say as ineffective as Martinelli. Like, he was busy, but I'd say busy without really doing much. But then having said that, if that goal stands, then probably having a very different conversation. Maybe I'm on my own. So Jack Walker's in the chat saying Jesus last night was terrifying. I don't know if that means good or bad. I've interpreted that as Jack thinks he was good. But so like maybe I'm on my own and I just had a different read on the game last night, and maybe I'm being swayed by just the 1-0 and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. There wasn't much from Jesus last night that made me connect with that game thinking, yeah, he was good.
No, but
I was really impressed with that movement for his disallowed goal.
It was good to see him. You know, our standards are really dropping that low with Jesus. It was good
Jack's
to see
clarified. He said he meant bad.
It was good to see
Jack's
him
with me, yes.
Yeah, it was good to see him not as bad as the Fulham game, and the Everton game, where he was shocking. I think we'd lost him as a player then, but I think he was. I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was terrible. I thought he was okay.
Yeah, a couple of players I do want to talk about though. Miles Lewis-Skelly, the first. What the fuck have we spawned there? Because so I'll hold my hand up here, right? Like because I've seen him and Nwaneri at Boreham Wood, because I used to go and watch the academy a bit over the last 18 months, and I always thought, like, you could tell they were the two that were going to go and make it, but I always thought there was a bit of a gulf in quality between Nwaneri and Lewis-Skelly. Fuck me, like I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say I was ever down on him. Just I wasn't as high on him as I was Nwaneri, I guess. And his press resistance is a joke.
Unbelievable. He's finishing Arsenal careers there, right there, isn't he? He might as well put his house up for sale, because put it on the market now, mate. So because he's going in the summer. There's Calafiori is decent, but then now we can't rely on this guy to play for. But what a gem he is to come in and just do
Calafiori.
MLS, to come in and do what he's doing now. No one saw it at the start of the season. To get any of these type of minutes is absolutely brilliant for the club. So I think he, as you say, the press resistance on him, and he likes the physical contact, doesn't he? He's not scared of that. And
I saw he confronted, was it Calvin Phillips? But from my seat, I couldn't really see what was going on. So what was that in relation to?
There was
Gabriel, right?
Yeah, Gabriel and Phillips had gone out for a corner, and sort of Gabriel shepherded it out, and Phillips has sort of pushed Gabriel at the last minute and pushed him into the hoarding, the advertising hoarding, and then as he's run is off. Sort of Skelly standing in the line, and Phillips has just sort of run in that line and barged into him, sort of, and Skelly's just bounced off him, stood his ground, and pushed him away. So it's good to see that he's got a bit of minerals.
At the Etihad, he was there, weren't he? So
he's got the minerals to stand up. So he is a very, very exciting prospect, and the way that he could just drop into midfield, because he's a midfielder, isn't he? He's not.
Yeah, that's what. When I watched him for the academy, he was a number 6. So that's what I thought he was. And
so I mean, you could look at the comparison between him and Rico Lewis. I know who I'd rather have.
Was that a thing?
Purely,
was that a
because of the obviously people are looking at Rico Lewis as the best thing, and look at the physical attributes of Rico Lewis.
Rico Lewis is the definition of a woke footballer, isn't he?
and he's a typical City player, isn't he? He's a bit of a Like look who they're producing. Palmer, like I'm talking the physical attributes. Palmer, Silva, Lewis. They're all skinny fuckers. Look at us. Look at the size of Lewis's legs, man.
Yeah,
The geezer,
mate, be careful. I saw a very suspect tweet doing the rounds last night. You don't want to repeat that.
No. So yeah, he's very good to see his progress, and you just
his personality on the ball.
Yeah, it was 98% passing completion.
Was it? And there was one. Well, okay, this is a lot.
There was
one moment. I think I know what you.
Was that the one with Jesus, or was it on the halfway line?
Yeah, his ball just gets fizzed into him. He takes it, bang! Like he's getting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he was getting clattered, but there were collisions in there. Takes it in his stride, gone. He's so good, and I think the way he receives the ball, he's got that real like low center of gravity with the power. His feet are they're like cushions with the way he keeps the ball on him. He's really, really impressive from him, and I respect to Arteta for playing him as well. It could have been quite easy to just bring Calafiori straight back in, which I think he probably would have done previously.
Yeah. So. And I think that's what maybe Arteta's learning a bit more is to use your players like when they got the rhythm of the he's ended Kivior's career, really.
Yeah, Kivior's one like I'm not I don't. I still think Kivior will be useful in certain cups to just take minutes of Gabriel.
Yeah, I say, I mean that should have been if you're Zinchenko and Kivior, you're sitting there and you've got an 18-year-old playing.
Zinchenko's the interesting one because Lewis Skelly came on against Liverpool ahead of him as well, right? And I think that was the moment where it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and because you're looking and it's the old. They obviously that was our perceived weakness was that left back, wasn't it? So they did target him. But then they didn't get much change out of him.
Yeah, and there'll be a period where he struggles, but like it's just really
positionally against Salah, he was out of him and Kivior between them were a bit, Yeah. But
and if I'm being like, I don't know, I don't really want to be. It's not being critical, just an observation. Like there's stuff in his game that he can definitely improve in terms of positioning as well. Because like what I was watching last night, you could see Gabriel Rice kind of instructing him like you need to be there and stuff. But that's good, right? Like it's things that is just going to be part of his natural development. But just really happy and super encouraged with what we're seeing there. Midfield dynamics I want to talk about. So I've got this theory, might be very reductive. Partey at the base, we play good, but it's basketball. Rice at the base, we're defensively outstanding, but doesn't quite click so much. Do you think that's reductive?
Yeah, no, I think that's bang on.
Yeah, because like the Partey thing, like did Partey play at the base against Palace? I think he did.
No, did he?
Yeah, because Rice came off the bench, didn't he?
Oh, yes, he did, and he scored.
Yeah. So that's literally an example of what I guess I'm getting at. So that was one where like So I just checked. Partey was at the base. Like offensively, we looked better, but transition game, weren't it? There's one game in particular I remember, Newcastle away this season, where Partey started at right back in that game. He moved centrally for like 2 minutes before half time, like not just drifting, inverting, like he just fixated centrally, and we played through their thirds and got into their box. Boom.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like what I spoke about earlier in terms of ball carrying and stuff like that is what we need. I don't know what Declan Rice's best position is. No. I think he's one of the best midfielders in the world, but he gives me a headache. And it's like, I think there's certain game states where I don't think it suits him playing as a left eight, but I think it's because Arteta puts him as like the second forward left eight. We need him driving from deep. It's almost like, you remember we used to play a double pivot 10 years ago, Arteta Ramsey. Like, I think we need that, a double pivot where someone next to Rice does the passing and the playmaking, Jorginho. Partey.
Yeah.
And Rice is that kind of Ramsey. Like going up and down.
Casido and Rice partnership.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Casido and Rice partnership.
Yeah, I think the partnership is there in Partey, Jorginho, or Jorginho with Rice, but it's just Odegaard obviously plays as that right eight. But yeah, I don't know. Like Havertz, I thought was fine. left eight. He scares me a bit off the ball when he's in midfield. I think he looks like he goes in to intentionally try and foul someone. But I don't know. Like Rice is a phenomenal midfielder, but I've got this hypothesis in my head that I can't really shake, to be honest. And then my solution is double pivot. Have Rice like I'm trying to think. There was a Bayern Munich team that had like one of the best double pivots, and of course I can't flipping remember it. It was like Martinez, and it was basically the profiles of one was a box to box, one was a deep line playmaker.
Yeah.
And that like Declan Rice, I think, can be one of the best box to box in world football if we use him, but we're not. We're trying to use him in different ways. Like he's not a Jorginho, but we try to make him that. He passes it side to side, and I don't know.
And it becomes very predictable as well, doesn't it? That pass out to the right hand side, and then especially you haven't got Saka there, then you're not giving Martinelli a chance because instantly he's banked up by 4 players. You know, so but it's a conundrum that I think we're still going to carry on working on, because I don't think, you know, you bring Marino into the equation. Does he add anything that allows Rice or Partey to do their thing? I don't know. He's not a replacement for them. He's more of a squad player that's coming on to replace them with half hour to go, isn't he? I don't think we thought we'd get this much out of Partey this season.
No,
fitness wise, that's where we are, isn't it? You've got a fit Thomas Partey, which you never thought you'd have, but you lose Jesus out, you know, the guy that we were hoping to rely on as your Eddie replacement as such, or you lose Odegaard for your 2 months, where you've then got a Partey's fit for almost every game. So very strange.
It'll be interesting to see what he does, because on Marino, like I haven't given up on him at all. I think there will be a good player in there that will have periods where
I think he's a good signing for squad player. I like him. I don't think he's going to let anyone down. Is he? He's not that player that we described earlier, as in the game changer that's going to break, you know. But squad player, he's fine. So.
Yeah, and I think there will be periods where he's kind of established in the first 11 as well. And when that happens, Rice will be at the base. Or
he reminds me of Edu.
Yeah. But like even that like could in a double pivot, could Marino be the left-sided one, Rice be the right-sided one? Like Marino more of that. I don't know. Like could he be like that deep line playmaker? I'm not sure.
I think he could. But I think in this team with those, because we don't play a game. You got Saliba and Gabriel behind him, you know, and play the high line. So you're not. And then I think Timber has been the revelator.
He's been amazing.
What a player he is. And I think, you know, that might to not miss Ben White. No one's even talking about Ben White.
I know.
He's just been forgotten. You know, I think he's going to struggle to get back in the team.
Yeah, my mate said this last night. I think like just seeing how the injuries have gone, I just want
because Timber needs a break. So,
and to be honest, I do think, especially against these low blocks, I think we're missing White's overlapping. Not saying Timber's not doing good enough. I just think sometimes it's nice to have an alternative profile. Like I think Timber he almost reminds me like a number 10 sometimes, the way he plays. Like very comfortable in pockets and tight spaces. But I think sometimes it's quite nice to have that fucking galloping Ben White on the outside as well. So I think it'll be nice to have the alternate profiles. But in terms of team from last night, I think that's mostly it, to be honest. Don't know if there's anyone else you want to touch on. Trossard, how do you think he?
I think he done okay. He done okay. Yeah. He had one of his better games. You know, he's so up and down, isn't he? You know, I think I've been disappointed with him, you know, in a couple of games recently, but I think he done okay. I mean, he done well for the goal. So
he did very well.
Yeah, fair play to him. He done okay. I don't think there's a problem there, but we need bodies to help out those guys. That's my bigger concern.
Yeah,
you know, are we going to get any recruitment in January? We need it, don't we?
Well, that's the thing, and it's I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of people understandably criticizing the summer window at the minute, and I'm part on their side, part not, just because of what I continue to believe is, as much as I've felt like we've needed a top class attacker for couple of seasons now. This summer, like last summer, we obviously went big on Rice, right? And Havertz and Timber. This summer, I don't look at any teams that moved for an attacker. Like the window was weird. So I agree, the window was. It looks like it was underwhelming right now. But I don't really look at any offensive players that moved or ones that we missed that look realistic. And like Nico Williams, everyone was talking about. I think he scored one goal this season. I can't confess to have actually watched him myself. Neto scored his fucking he had his Anthony moment against us.
Yeah, so it's hard. We tried for Šeško, didn't we? That was the one.
Yep.
And
I think it's obvious that Arteta, he's tried for Šeško.
We tried with
Rafinha 2 years ago, Vlahovic, Mudryk. He's tried for the striker. He's tried for the wide forward. Like, they're not idiots. They know what we need. I think it's not FIFA sometimes.
No, if he was like sitting there going, "It's who we are, mate. I don't want to buy a striker. I think we were right with these 5."
Then I'd be concerned.
Then I'd be concerned. It's just what we do, I'd be concerned, but he's not. You can't buy people that don't want to join your club. We have to understand the trend. Now, there is a frustration across the fan base. I absolutely get that, but you need to put it into context. There's the other thing is, if there's rumours of, it's not our job to put names forward. That's the club's. But you could go for someone like Isaac, right?
Yeah.
Which I think would suit us. But you're not getting Isaac in January.
No, not for 100 mil minimum.
No, so okay. If we could put to one side, we could get, and it shouldn't be like that. But this is what we are. Is we aren't going to go and do 100 million in January and then another 100 million in the summer, and we don't want it. We don't want an Aubameyang and Lacazette situation again, do we? So, because you are hamstringing your club for 5 years on big wages. So,
shout out to Saka there.
Yes. So you don't want to. But who is available that could do what we want them to do, and it's that. Oh, who's been the backup? It's outrageous that we've never signed a backup for Saka. Well, it has, but who's going to be Saka's backup, knowing they're Saka's backup, knowing that he's in that? But who's Salah's backup?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's why I want us to build a forward group like Liverpool have done.
They're not backups. They are just options. Very, very good options. And I've 6 players that you put in.
I agree with you. Like, it's not
6.
Yeah, exactly. I do agree with you. Like, it's not our job to put names forward, but I do think there are players out there that exist that aren't really mainstream names. That no, not quite January, just more for next summer. Like, I do think there are players out there that aren't mainstream names that have attributes and profiles that can come in and add what we need
and do a job. I agree.
One question I want to ask you before we do look to get out of here, there's just contextualizing things. Obviously, it's been a few weeks since we've done an episode on here. There's been a lot of change. Liverpool are 6 points ahead of us, I think, with 1 game in hand.
The underdogs. Liverpool, the underdogs.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that another time, to be fair. But just in terms of Arsenal specific, where's your head at right now in terms of how you're feeling for the rest of the season, and maybe a bit of a reset in terms of expectations, maybe?
I think I've recovering from the disappointing spell that we had, and when you look at the context of it, it's like since that Inter Milan game, we've won 8 games. So no, won 8 and lost 3. Sorry, won 8 and drawn 3 since Inter Milan.
Yeah.
So the frustration is those missed opportunities where you see us, and I think that's why last night's win was so important, because there's some crazy results after on Boxing Day.
Like Fulham going and beating Chelsea.
It was nearly perfect, like Chelsea, Spurs, United.
Liverpool were 1 down at one point.
Yeah, Liverpool were. So it was nearly had the full lot. But then going back to previously, there was the Champions League set fixtures. I think it was the Fulham game after, it was the Everton game after, where did you notice that all of the top clubs in Europe, that set of game weeks, none of them won their respective league matches.
Oh, really? So, no, I've not seen that.
So Barcelona, PSG, Real Madrid, City, Liverpool, us, Bayern Munich, all the top Juventus, none of them won that game week that weekend. This is just a toll that the players are under
That's
the
mad.
schedule.
Not heard that anywhere.
It was a mad stat and that kind of puts into context that Fulham or the Everton result because you're like, well, is it just? And then you go, then you see what they've done to other teams, both teams respectively. I'm confident that we're going to be in and amongst it in May, and that's all that I can hope for as a club. I'm not going to lose my shit over 2 results or whatever. And I'm actually I'm coming round. I think we might have a very, very good chance in the Champions League.
So I don't, and should I to go Gavin and Stacey, and I'll tell you for why. It's I don't. When we got knocked out against Bayern Munich, my kind of post-mortem was we're not going to go and better what we did in the Champions League until we add that individual brilliance, the ability to add moments, individual quality, everything we're struggling with. And I don't think I've seen that we've added that. So I think structurally,
but you can still shithouse. Yeah, you can still shithouse your way to a final.
I think if we're going to do it, we will do it. Yeah, I think if we're going to do it, we're going to do it the old school Arsenal way. But I don't know. I think we may come unstuck offensively, to be honest.
I agree with that because we can't, that is my concern. But we have covered that. And I think every single Arsenal fan knows it. We are having too many games that we're not scoring. There's too many 0-0s.
I think that's it. Like you've hit the nail on the head. Like if someone woke up from a coma and looked at us, was it post Chelsea? You said
Inter Milan.
Oh, sorry, Inter Milan. Like it's been fine, but I think that's the thing. It's like expectations, right?
It can't be fine. We need it.
And I think that's the thing. It's like on paper, sure, we got the result last night, but this is what we're here to do, right? We're here to analyze and potentially predict things that we can see. There is a recurring theme that has been a concern around Arsenal for a while now, and it's against low blocks. And I think I'd be doing myself a disservice to try and tell myself it's all fine. Like I think it's on one hand quite encouraging what we've done since Inter Milan, but I still think there's a lot of room for improvement in specific oppositions that we face, and that's where my head has landed on what I said earlier. I think we've hit a bit of a ceiling in what we do from open play against low blocks, which can only really be solved in the transfer market. I think that there will be games where we coach our way through to a 1-0, 2-0, but I think for where we want to get to, even the low block games need to start becoming 3-4-0s, and I think to add that level of dominance and removing the ability for us to get varianced, that's where
because then you're discouraging the low block, because what you're saying is you're going to get smashed up if you bring that to us anyway. Aren't you? So you need to have that aura that you're able, because I think everyone sees, now they're starting to put 3 on the halfway line flag, on the halfway line for the corners.
It's funny. I saw everyone jizzing themselves about that. I was like, that's great for us.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
more space to maneuver in the box.
Carry on.
Yeah, but no, it's
had a couple of penalties as well. Should have had a couple.
I'm so glad you said that. You say a couple. I remember one on Gabriel. What's the second one that's escaped my mind?
There was 2, one in the first half, one in the second half. At the corner, they literally just pushed a player off the pitch.
So maybe I didn't see that. I saw the Gabriel one where he was dragged to the floor. I think that was Delap, maybe.
Yeah, see how close the ref was looking at it as well.
That's a pen all day for me.
But there was so the tactic now seems to be they'll manhandle Saliba. I think Timber. So they've done it to 2 on one side, both by the post, and so they just push them off the pitch. You can't just shove someone out of the penalty box, surely. So.
No.
But yeah, I mean, we do enough shoving, but then it's all that, there's enough movement and shoving and stuff. That's the thing. There.
I don't think we ever manhandle and move people like that. No, I think we use shoulders, we create a yard, but that's football. You don't the Delap one. Like, I can't confess to remember the one you're talking about, but the Delap one I remember because I even saw it on the highlights when I got home. He literally grabbed Gabriel and dragged him to the floor. That's a foul.
You can't do that. So, but I mean, apart from that,
But all in all, it just shows how far we've come. It was obviously Arteta's 5-year anniversary last week, and that I love that guy. Like anyone, he's got room to improve, but I can confidently say when he took over 5 years ago, I didn't think we'd be having conversations like we are today. So I'm one of those annoying people. Trust the process. If that annoys you, I'm sorry, but that's where my heart is. We're doing well. There's room for improvement. It's been a great 2024. Sorry. I hope I'm saying next year. It's been a great 2025. But yeah, thanks as always, Uncle Mike. Been great to chat to you. It's been good to get back on the podding horse as well. Miss doing these. And yeah, that's it. We're back up and running. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss episodes when we go live. It's a packed schedule coming up. We've got Brentford away, Brighton away. Then we've got, is it the 3 home games in like a week or something?
Yeah.
So yeah, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the episodes. We're intending to do a preview before every game and a review after the games as well. The previews, I'm going to try get a couple of opposition fans on for a couple of the games as well. So yeah, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. If you are watching and you enjoyed this, please drop the stream a like in the Christmas spirit. Share it with your friends if you've got Gooner mates. And if you're listening on audio, please give us a 5-star review. That goes a long way. Uncle Mike, thanks as always. Merry Christmas, everyone. And
Merry
we
Christmas.
will see
Happy
you
New
for
Year.
Brentford. Happy New Year. Let's hope 2025 is the year of trophies, as Declan Rice said. Up the Arsenal.
Up the Arsenal.